Welcome to the Explainer. So let's jump right in. Today, we're tackling what's probably the absolute ultimate headache for security engineers everywhere: compliance audit fatigue. If you have ever felt completely buried under endless spreadsheets, or if you're just drowning in manual screenshot requests, you are definitely in the right place. We are going to break down the newly evolved NSAuditor AI Enterprise Edition, specifically the v.18.0 release. It's an autonomous cloud auditor that actually mathematically proves the state of your infrastructure. And as we'll get into, it just got a massive Deep Pass upgrade for hunting down hidden vulnerabilities in Google Cloud Platform. Okay, let's dive into this, because the idea that teams inevitably hit a wall perfectly captures a frustration I hear literally all the time. You've got one cloud environment, right? You have one set of actual tangible risks. But suddenly, you're forced to map those exact same risks against SOC 2, and then HIPAA, and then PCI DSS. It is a redundant manual nightmare. We're talking about multi-cloud sprawl and the sheer mind-numbing exhaustion of translating one single reality into 6 different languages for 6 different auditors. It's literally night and day when you look at the evolution here. The old way of doing things is just so incredibly risky. You're taking manual screenshots, you're exporting these unverified CSVs that a strict auditor can just easily dismiss, and worse, you're risking data exfiltration by sending your configurations out to a third-party SaaS scanner. The new way, though, it's a massive multiplier effect. One automated scan maps to 6 frameworks locally, producing cryptographically signed evidence. Section 1. The compliance audit problem. And that brings us to, honestly, the most dangerous concept in compliance: the silent clean. You know, a zero-finding scan shouldn't automatically trigger a celebration. It should probably trigger suspicion. For example, over in Google Cloud Platform, a legacy scanner might look at a GCS bucket and say it's totally secure, based purely on IAM rules. But it completely misses legacy object ACLs that are actively exposing your data to the public. Or get this, it might miss a transitive impersonation path where a custom role steps into a highly privileged service account, maybe up to 4 hops away. A silent clean just leaves those live exposures completely hidden. And that's exactly why this new v.0.18.0 release focuses so heavily on Deep Pass GCP hardening. It specifically closes 5 real-world detection gaps to catch these exact false negatives. It even tracks project scope service account key creation, so you'll know right away if a principal has the privilege to bypass standard session boundaries and just mint long-lived keys. Plus, it now runs seamlessly under pure application default credentials. And the best part? If it hits an API permission error, it surfaces it as a failed control rather than just faking a clean read. You get guaranteed evidence with absolutely no hidden gaps. Section 2. Hexa Framework, 6-in-1. 62. That is the exact number of signed evidence artifacts generated from just one single 4-minute scan. I mean, just think about the pure mathematics of that time savings for DevSecOps team. You point the tool at your cloud exactly once, and literally 4 minutes later, you have 62 distinct cryptographically verifiable files ready to just hand straight over to your auditors. Now, what's really interesting here is how the engine pulls this off. Well, the core engine still uses just 28 plugins, and those core compliance matrices remain byte for byte unchanged. A single scan simultaneously routes its findings across SOC 2, Type 2, HIPAA technical safeguards, NIST, CSF 2.0, PCI DSS v4.0.1, ISO 27001, and the newly introduced CIS Critical Security Controls v8. It's wild. And the really brilliant part is the cross-framework isolation. A SOC 2 auditor is only ever going to see SOC 2 control IDs. The HIPAA citations literally never leak into the SOC 2 report. It's completely isolated so your auditors stay focused on exactly what they need to see without getting bogged down or confused by the other frameworks. Section 3. Verifiable Evidence Pipeline. This pipeline is absolutely airtight. Step 1, it outputs 3 distinct formats for every single framework. You get Markdown for your Git workflows, HTML for the auditor to read directly, and JSON to plug right into your GRC tools. Step 2 is where the integrity magic really happens. SHA-256 sidecars are created for every single file. This is your rock-solid chain of custody. It proves the file hasn't been tampered with. And finally, Step 3 applies RFC 3161 trusted timestamps. This non-repudiation envelope proves mathematically that your infrastructure was in this exact state, at this exact second, verified by a trusted authority like DigiCert. No backdating, no manual tampering possible. So the crucial point here is this concept of zero data exfiltration, because the scanner executes entirely inside your own boundary. Your cloud credentials, your infrastructure data, and any potentially exposed protected health information, they never leave your control. You don't have to sign a BAA, a business associate agreement for HIPAA. You bypass massive privacy and regulatory hurdles simply by keeping the execution entirely local. Section 4, Precision Multi-Cloud Scoping. When you actually run this, the CLI is incredibly frictionless. Just by passing a CSV string of frameworks to the engine, it dynamically triggers its multi-cloud auditors. In a typical run, you might see just 11 specific plugins execute, generate 76 findings, and flawlessly route them to create those 62 evidence artifacts we talked about. And the command line interface has been seriously leveled up with some fantastic new lifecycle features leading up to this release. First up, Sentinel Host Autoscoping. If you tell it to scan AWS and use the All Plugins flag, it automatically knows to only run the 20 AWS-specific plugins and safely skips the remaining ones for Azure or GCP, which totally optimizes your API calls. Second, regional fan-out scoping. You can specify one region, a comma-separated list, or just pass all to dynamically check every account-enabled region. What's vital here is the explicit disclosure. If you only scan one region, the report explicitly lists the regions you did not scan, so your security posture is never artificially overstated. Finally, .env selection ensures you can pass credential paths safely so your secret keys are never written directly to your shell environment.
Section 5, Claude Desktop MCP Integration.
Let's move on and see how this builds into something even more futuristic. By leveraging the Extended Model Context Protocol, or MCP, you no longer have to wrestle with spreadsheets or even type out those complex terminal commands we were just talking about. You can literally transform Claude Desktop into a fully autonomous cloud compliance auditor. You just talk to it. The AI can actually execute actions autonomously through these specific MCP tools. You've got Start Assessment to literally command Claude to kick off a multi-cloud scan right inside your infrastructure. Prioritize Risks allows Claude to calculate weighted risk rankings to highlight your top severity items. Compliance Check forces a complete gap analysis against all 6 frameworks. An Export Report compels Claude to compile the final signed evidence package. The AI even intelligently batches its region discovery to stay perfectly within its 60-second tool call constraints. That means the entire initiation process for a GRC professional gets reduced down to a simple, natural language prompt. Audit my AWS and Azure accounts. That's literally it. Claude completely understands the intent, uses the MCP tools to securely trigger the local scan, and parses your cloud state in real time to give you actionable, verified answers. We've covered a massive leap today, right? Going from the nightmare of manual screenshots, unverified CSVs, and those scary silent cleans straight into a world of cryptographically signed multi-framework evidence, all the way to conversational AI-driven compliance. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Take a hard look at your current workflows. Is your infrastructure actually ready for an autonomous AI auditor? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.